So I noticed a strange colored light in front of my house. I have a couple lights in front of the garage, and this was one of them. And it looked purple. And then on closer inspection, it actually was white and blue. And it was like half of the light bulb was blue and half of it was still white. And I'd never seen this before. I mean, I sort of intuitively knew what had happened because I used to work on white LEDs. A white LED is a blue LED with phosphor on it. So somehow the phosphor had failed and the blue had survived. And so you were only getting blue light. But I thought, well, that's interesting. I replaced the bulbs in front of the house, but let's tear one down. So this is what the bulb looks like. It's a Cree light bulb. Cree is a company on the East Coast that builds some of the best LEDs, and they also build some light bulbs. And this is one. I put it in the socket here to light it up, and you can see that it's like in quadrants, and one of the quadrants is blue, and one of the quadrants is white. So let's tear it down. Now, while I was whacking on it to try to open it up, these little yellow things popped out, and those are pieces of phosphor. They're little cubes of silicone with phosphor in them. So obviously that's what had failed. They basically delaminated or fell off or something. So um, here's what they look like under blue light. They glow kind of an orangey color. And so if you put one of those orangey things on top of blue and mix them together, you get white light. So that's interesting. But let's continue the teardown. So the light bulb, it comes apart with two pieces of plastic shells, and inside are these PC boards that are crossed. So it makes these four quadrants, and then these little LEDs are stuck between in these quadrants. So there's two of those, basically two of those LEDs per quadrant, one on one PC board and one on the other PC board. So these are the two LEDs per quadrant, and they look a bit odd. I hadn't seen any like this before. So I need to take a closer look at those. So under higher magnification, I noticed it's not one LED, it's 10 LEDs all strung together. So it's one little substrate, it's like maybe 2 millimeters by 2 millimeters, little substrate, and it has 10 blue LEDs on it. And then that silicone with the orange phosphor on it obviously was on top of this, but it has fallen off. Here I'm using a little magnifier to try to look at it a little bit closer. All right, so I was pretty impressed with the drive electronics. It looked quite expensive to me. There's quite a few components on it, and two inductors, which is pretty amazing. Both of the inductors are marked 472. So not, I think that's 470. I think that's 470 millihenries, if I'm right. But yeah, one side is just a coiled spool, and then the other side is one of those big blocks of ferrite or something with the windings on the inside. So yeah, it's got two expensive components on it right away, plus an FET to drive things, and it's pretty fancy. Oh well, I thought it was interesting. I had, like I said, I had two light bulbs out in front, and uh, just banging them on the countertop dislodged all the rest of the little phosphors, and so now I have a big collection of them now that I can light up under blue light. And here you can see I've turned one on edge, and you can kind of see that the phosphors, uh, it's basically there's an LED, and then they goop it with phosphor, and then they put a clear epoxy on top of that, or clear silicone on top of that. And then obviously over the heat and lifetime of the product, the basically the adhesion fails and these little things fall off. So I'm getting the blue light from the from the light bulb that I did not tear apart. I just banged it and I dislodged all of the phosphorus. And now it's a blue light bulb. It just outputs blue light. Anyway, thought it was fun. Thought you'd enjoy it.